Hi, I'm Eric Soriano, Commercial Sales Rep at Hermes Landscaping. I'm here to talk today about irrigation management during landscape establishment. First of all, what is landscape establishment? It's the extra services that are required of a landscape during the first year of establishment. The Corps of Engineers has a 10-page guidebook on that subject, so it's a very holistic weekly inspection of the landscape, and then taking action to make sure the landscape, the plants, the trees, the shrubs, seed, sod, everything gets established correctly. So I'm going to talk about irrigation system because a lot of laymen do not know this information, but it's very important to understand. We have basically really 4 different zones in a landscape that need to be watered differently. I had a friend ask me, what is the difference between the irrigation in these different areas? So I'm going to tell you, the first one would be like the annual color, like begonias or petunias or whatever. They need to be watered pretty much daily here in Kansas City during the hot weather, or at least every 2 days, because there's a lot of evaporation. The annual color is shallow rooted primarily. It's a 1-year crop. It grows really fast, and then we pull them out, right? So they're on, let's say, zone number 1, and they get 5 minutes a day, let's just say. And this is all based on the site conditions and the plant material, and was there any pterosaur put in the soil to help carry it longer? But number 2, we have what I call the planting beds with grasses, perennials, and shrubs. And in many cases, these are irrigated with drip irrigation, and we're going to run that irrigation probably 20 minutes twice a week, so that we get some water down into the bottom of the root balls, but in between they get to dry out. Okay, because we don't want an anaerobic condition. We want to keep it aerobic, but we want a good watering during that first year of landscape establishment. Make sure they get rooted in and are happy. The third zone would be the turf zone. So the turf, typically the first 21 days needs watered 3 times a day to keep it really soggy and wet. But after that, we're going to back it down to 3 or 4 times a week. And in Kansas City, the goal is to replace 1 inch of water lost through transvaporation, which is transpiration of the plant and evaporation from the sun and the wind. And then the 4th zone would be the trees. Now, trees are very different than annual color. They don't want water 5 times a day. They don't want water twice a week. They want water once a week, maybe 20 gallons once a week. So, but because you have a deep root zone, okay, the root ball is 20 to 30 inches deep, we need to put down a lot of water. That's probably 20 gallons a week, once a week. On the turf, remember, 3 to 4 times a week, and we're going to put down about 1/3 of an inch per watering. Do you see the difference? We have 4 uniquely different irrigation zones in different conditions, different plant types. You might even have more, because you might have pots over here, and those pots, you might have pterosaur in the soil to keep it wet, but we might put a drip zone into those pots. We might have some kind of, another kind of perennial that needs more water more often, especially during establishment. So that first year during this landscape establishment, it's so important to have a person out there with a horticultural background that understands the needs of each of these different plant types and how to adjust an irrigation system so that each of these different plant types are getting what they need and want to be happy. So that's a pretty quick overview of irrigation management during the landscape establishment period in the first year after transplanting of a new landscape. This is Eric Soriano with Hermes Landscaping, signing off. If you have any questions, my email and phone number up here below. Thank you.